The boy was shocked to see a curse suddenly appear on his notebook. He quickly wrote below asking who the sender was. The woman who read it turned pale with fear. She remembered this was her husband's old college notebook. Could she be talking to her husband from 15 years ago? Half doubting, she wrote a reply. The boy from the past was stunned to read it, because the woman was sitting right beside him at that moment, so he assumed she was lying, and said she couldn't possibly hate him. He wrote down his name, demanding to know who she really was. The woman then realized he truly was her husband from 15 years ago, so she told him the truth. She was his wife from the future, and begged his 18-year-old self not to pursue her. The boy was confused. He loved this girl deeply. How could he give her up? So the woman began telling the truth about their future marriage. 15 years ago, she had been attacked by a group of thugs, leaving her permanently infertile, but the boy still chose to love her, and married her without hesitation. They thought they could live happily ever after, but over time, his longing for children only grew stronger. After countless hospital visits, they were told she would never conceive. He left her and went back to work alone. When she brought him lunch at the office, she accidentally overheard him cheating on her, and the other woman was already pregnant. Even more painful, the mistress was the same woman who caused her infertility. The wife broke down completely, but the boy still didn't believe it, thinking she made up the story to scare him off. Just as she tried to explain, her 30-year-old husband came home. He grabbed her and dragged her into the bedroom, demanding the family heirloom. He wanted to give it to the mistress, the same heirloom he once gave her on their wedding day. Ignoring his mother's objections, he had promised he would love only her forever, but now he wanted to give it away, just because the mistress could bear him a son. He shamelessly claimed, even if the mistress gave him a child, she would still remain his official wife. But the woman no longer cared about such a title, so she opened the notebook again, and continued speaking to the boy from the past. When the young man heard the full story, he tore up the love letter he had prepared. If his future self would hurt her, he'd rather they never begin. And in the present, the woman saw that letter vanish into thin air, yet she was still trapped in her husband's villa. Realizing something was off, she ran to the storage room, and found the torn and taped love letter. Realizing, even without the confession, her younger self would still fall for him, but now she understood. Maybe the young man could change her fate. Years ago, the mistress stabbed her, then had her assaulted by hired men, causing permanent damage to her womb. She held back tears, and wrote the painful memory in the notebook. The boy read it, and smashed his fist into the desk in rage. His knuckles were torn and bleeding. At the same time, his 30-year-old self suddenly saw scars appear on his hand. The boy jumped up, and ran straight to the scene of the attack, arriving just in time, before the mistress could hurt her. Meanwhile, the woman saw her husband being intimate with the mistress. She finally gave up, and had her lawyer draft divorce papers. She handed them to her husband herself, but he shamelessly argued that he only cheated to have a child, and blamed her infertility. Asking if she wanted his family line to end, she asked, wasn't this something he had always known? He was speechless. He had once sworn by her hospital bed that even if she could never have a child, he would never leave her, but now he had completely forgotten that vow. Angry and humiliated, he began insulting her, calling her poor, calling her old, even bringing up her trauma. His love turned into a knife, stabbing her over and over. She was finally done. 15 years of marriage and